Anyways, but we're talking about the fact of, you know, wanting a different kind of quarterback, like a Tyler Van Dyke that we've seen, to be the standard now on. But the point that I brought up was, you know, I get that like maybe having a De'Aaron King is not optimal because, you know, he's more of a runner than a thrower, even though he was adept at throwing. That was also precipitated because the offensive line was with turnstiles. You know, it's hut, oh my God, there's a guy in my face, and now I got to move and shake and make something happen and extend the play because the play that I had where I'm going to sit here and I'm going to scan is no longer available. You know what I mean? Sorry. Text about the secret day job, but I'm not at the secret day job. I'm on this job.
No, you were not.
Channel. Appreciate that.
Here with us.
Exactly. No, I will not. They will have to wait till another time. But like I was saying, when you have an offensive line that's not really able to do the job, like we kind of saw, then you need a quarterback who's more agile, mobile, hostile. Shout out to Rumor Titans to be back there. But, you know, when you improve that, then other things start to open up. You're able to dial up some of those things, even what Rhett Lashley did this year. As the offensive line gelled together throughout the season, then you saw more of those trick plays and that, you know, double reverse pass, that flea flicker and things like that. Those take time. So those five guys, maybe with a little help from a tight end or a chip from a running back, those guys are going to have to do that job. And we saw going in that direction. And I'm very confident. I mean, Mario Cristobal would have to deny his native, he would have to be a self-hating individual to not look to improve the offensive line. Like, he was an offensive lineman on 2 championship teams at Miami. His best friend is the offensive line coach coming down here. He would have to have a blind spot for himself and what he did and coached and played to go in a different direction. And sometimes early on in a career, you can do that. Y'all know I used to be a teacher, right? I taught music. And there was a study, and I went to a convention, and basically it was talking about whatever instrument or voice part that director played or sang, that was the one that got the least attention, because in your head, you're like, I'm singing bass or I'm playing flute. So I'm not paying attention to the basses in my choir. I'm not paying attention to the flutes in my band because I'm in my head hearing it because I can do that. And the same thing in early on in a coaching career. You can be like, I was an offensive lineman, so like I'm going to focus on these other things because I implicitly think that I'm going to have a great offensive line without giving them the focused, dedicated time that they would otherwise get. But we're not at the beginning of someone's career. We're not learning on the job a la Manny Diaz. This is someone who has done the job at multiple levels and coached this position of offensive line, brought in his best friend to coach it and continue it, and is very secure in the way that he wants to build and run a program. So, yeah, I agree with Falconer X that we're going to go outside of South Florida and look for ways to grow and improve the offensive line in terms of depth and talent. And hopefully we unlock some of the talent that's on this roster, because I, for one, would like to see somebody like Isaiah Walker Jr. from Norland. He was a 4-star kid. He was a top 200 recruit in America, has not played a meaningful snap or a single snap, I don't even think, at the University of Miami. That's a guy who maybe with the right coaching on the offensive line can be a really key contributor here. You know, there's other guys who were blue chip caliber dudes in that room. I don't know if they're going to stick around, but we haven't seen much from them. So it's kind of rubber meeting road time. So hopefully either they improve and live up to their billing and recruitment, because all these guys were recruited by other Power 5 teams. Isaiah Walker Jr. went to the University of Florida, smelled what it smelled like in Gainesville, and said, nah, I'm going back south to the crib, out, bye. And I get that. But I say that to say, if he was recruited by Florida, an SEC team, who I hate, but I will begrudgingly respect, right? And they were not the only ones. That means that big-time name-brand teams wanted him and other guys. Why are they not able to perform on the field here at Miami? Hopefully with Cristobal and Mirabal, specifically for the offensive line, they're able to improve that moving forward.
Falconer X was amused by your turnstile comment about the offensive line.
I do the case.
Thank you, Falconer X. So the quarterback of the future has been found. That doesn't mean that Jake Garcia couldn't turn out to be a phenomenal quarterback in his own right.
What? I mean, honestly, I think that like Van Dyke is the quarterback of now.
Well, that's
you know
what I mean.
I mean, but yeah, he's QB1.
Yeah. So that being said, there being no other experience of note in the room, are you okay with where the quarterback room stands right this second?
I would love a program player. I would love a Stetson Bennett minus, or a Stetson Bennett, you know, not to start, not to be a championship quarterback, because he's not that, right? He's not. And it is a shame that Georgia has had to rely upon him, because he's not. He's just not. And he can be a good guy. He's just not. And that's okay, right? But I would love to have, or like even a, what's like or a player who's a minor upgrade over Jake Heaps, right? A fifth-year guy, 22, 23 years old, maybe played a couple hundred snaps somewhere else. Doesn't have to be like a starter, but like that safety net, you know, because you're going to have Van Dyke as QB1, Garcia's QB2, Ja'Cory Brown is a 3-year project at quarterback, and it's fine because you got Van Dyke and Garcia in front. And after that, you have Peyton Matoka, who's never going to play a meaningful snap here. And then you got to walk on Ryan Rizek, you know, whose most notable thing is that his younger brother is going to be a blue chip quarterback, you know. And it was like this year, you know, in the end of the season, if Van Dyke went down, now you're playing Rizek or Matoka, you know, and Ja'Cory Brown is not going to be ready for primetime next year. And Jake Garcia, you know, unfortunately, we've seen him already get injured. So, yeah, I would love a Jake Heaps plus kind of old man, you know, to be in that room just on the in case that, you know, let's say COVID's still around next year. Because it most likely will be. Let's say TVD tweaked an ankle. He's not able to go. Garcia, hypothetically, is out because of safety protocols. That means Rizek, Matoka, or Ja'Cory Brown. If you would have like another guy there, that would make me really, really, really. And I don't even need a blue chip. I don't need a 5-star. I don't need Quinn Ewers. I don't need Justin Fields to transfer in. I mean, I would take it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't need that. But another guy who, if I gave you, what was the name of the grad assistant who started at South Carolina?
Oh, well, let's see. Their quarterbacks, they had Zeb Noland, but he wasn't the guy. He was their other quarterback. Jason Brown, was that his name? Jacob Brown. Jason Brown.
Even if I had a guy like that, so I could plug in.
That's an incredible story.
For one game, that's an incredible story. That I go as a GA and they're like, "Hey, bro, go see the equipment manager right quick." Like, you know what I mean?
That's crazy when you think about it. And he's really playing. He's starting an SEC game.
Right, but I just need a guy,
and he did fine.
And that's what I would need, to be fine on the in case, because yeah, it would be break glass if emergency if Garcia and Van Dyke, for whatever reason, are not able to play in the same game moving in next year. But otherwise, I mean, like talent-wise, moving forward, oh, yeah, no. Like, I mean, you got TVD who's, I mean, obviously you see it. Garcia is arguably as talented and something more talented than Van Dyke. Ja'Cory Brown is incredibly physically talented and imposing. He's 6'4", and he got shoulders that are like, I mean, it looks like a 40 zoot suit. I mean, he has these gigantic shoulders, a cannon for an arm, can definitely run. Nah, he needs to get, you know, fine-tuning at the finer points of being a quarterback, including, you know, footwork and accuracy and, you know, repeatable mechanics. And we know those things. But that's why I say that he's a 3-year project. I'm not expecting him or needing him to be out there right now. But in terms of talent, between those three, that's plenty. Oh, yeah, Zeb Noland was the guy.
Yeah. That's the first name that came to mind. Noland, as in Noland. Zeb Noland. Yeah, they had turnstile at quarterback themselves with like 3 really average guys, but now they got Spencer Rattler.
Hey, at least they didn't have to bring over a linebacker in the middle of the season like Maryland had to do. What was that? Almost a decade ago now.
I think that was Iowa State.
No, but before that,
Maryland did that too. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Iowa State did that as well.
They did that as well. Yeah. So it's not that situation. Because for Miami, I mean, well, yeah, I don't think it would be in that situation.
But that's, you came up with the perfect example. I was scanning the country and I was coming up with pretty pedestrian quarterbacks, but way above, you know, with the expectation that they're going to start somewhere because they are starters.
Right.
I wasn't coming up with that that type of guy.